Hey y'all, I'm Jordan Monin with J Money Disc Golf here with part one of my 2023 in the bag preview. Today I'm talking about my putters. So I am putting with the Mint Discs Bullet in Royal Firm plastic. And I really like these putters because they are a shallow putter, but deep enough that I can get my whole hand on them, really get my fingers engaged all on the disc and be driving through the flight plate and the rim every single putt with my wrist snap and my finger extension to get a consistent putt every single time. So next I go into my throwing putters, and I have three putters that I classify as understable, straight, and stable. And my understable putter is an Envy in the Electron Firm plastic. And I love this disc because it is a mid understable is what I'm going to call it, because I can throw it on a little bit of hyzer, it'll flip up and have a gentle turn right. It's not an aggressive flip, it's not a hard turn, but a gentle and consistent turn. And I use the Envies in Electron Firm plastic because they are a little bit overstable out of the box, but then they beat into that perfect flip up or turnover that I really need for my game. And so with the Electron Firm plastic, it beats in consistently enough, but also quickly enough that I will have this putter in the bag that has been beat in and is really turning nicely, but I'll have two more backups that I'm practicing with that are getting to that kind of understable, mid-understable point. So when this one is too beat or too flippy, then those are ready to just cycle right into the bag without ever missing a beat. So understable putter is my Electron Firm Envy. Next, I have my stable putter or my straight putter, and this is a Praxis by Thought Space Athletics. And I love this disc because it can handle a ton of torque. It's just dead straight, point and shoot, whatever line and angle you put it on, that's what it's going to hold throughout the entire flight. So I can put it on a little bit of a hyzer and it'll hold that hyzer through the whole flight. I can release it flat and it'll just glide flat, often as far or further than a lot of my mid-ranges will go because it has so much glide and so much torque can be put behind it before it just flips over and is a wasted shot. And next I have my stable to overstable throwing putter, and this is an Envy in the Eclipse plastic. The Eclipse plastic is significantly more stable than the Electron Firm. It also does not beat in nearly as quickly. So this one is about 6 months old, and it is still finishing every time nearly the same as it did when it was brand new. And that's another thing that I love about the Eclipse Envies. They are so consistent and so durable. I have, I believe, 5 practice backups that I use, and every single one of them flies very, very nearly the exact same. And this one, like I said, is 6 months old. It's still flying almost exactly how it flew when I pulled it out of the box to begin with. It also has a consistent amount of overstability. So if I throw this disc flat, it will travel usually about 80% of its flight path before it starts to finish. And it's a gentle finish. So it's not going to be a hard finish to a skip. It's going to be more kind of settling down on a gentle finish that will always be consistent, but always be gentle. And that's really important on a lot of my upshots, especially on tighter lines or faster greens. So now we get into my truly overstable putters. And I have 2 of those. The first of which is the Zone by Discraft. And I really like the Z Glow run from the 2021 Ledgestone run. And the reason I like that is it is a little bit of a flexy zone. It has some flexion to it, but the rim is still very rigid, which means that it can handle a lot of torque and a lot of power. The other thing that I like about these zones is they have a little bit more glide than most of the Z or the Z Flex and even the ESP zones that I have used and tried. And so it allows for a kind of a straight glide for a little bit further, and then that hard, consistent dumping finish that we really want out of a zone. So I throw this thing forehand, backhand. I can use it on flex shots. I can use it on hyzer skips. Really no end to the possibilities of what you can do with just this disc. And again, that's the Z Glow Zone by Discraft. And my final putter is the Golem by Divergent Discs. And I fell in love with this disc from the moment that I threw it. It is a flexy, rubbery disc. So every time it hits the ground, it's going to sit and stick right where it hits. I know that I can consistently throw this on faster greens or slicker ground, hard packed ground, and it will stick every time. I've never had this disc stand up and roll. I have never had this disc skip more than about 2.5 to 3 feet. And I've never seen this disc slide. So if there's a tricky green or a tight line that I needed to go right there and stop, this is what I'm pulling out. Forehand, backhand, every time. The other beautiful thing about this disc, it is wickedly overstable. So I can throw it on heavy flex shots. I can throw it on spike hyzers. I've even thrown it on a few grenades. Every single time it will just dump all through the flight. It's fighting to finish. And so if you're looking for an overstable, rubbery, stopping and sticking disc, this is my go-to on a ton of upshots. All right, so that's it for my putters and my part 1 of the 2023 in the bag. So hit the subscribe button, give us a like, share the channel with a friend, and come on back for part 2 of In the Bag.